I've always wondered what makes the Model A so special. Why are there so many still around? Why the enthusiasm? And so I came up with my own reason. I thought I'd put it on video just to have it. But and I'm sure other Model A's have their own theory on why the Model A. It's just a simple little car. But there's something special about it. It's a little car that caught the eye of masses back in 1929, and it really was a good car. It was a giant step up from the Model T. The A offered just about everything that the expensive cars of the day offered except snob appeal. It was a little guy sitting next to those big classic cars. It was smaller, lighter, colors weren't flashy, it rode a little rougher. The interior was just a notch up from bare bones, but for the price, it was a great car. Now, Chevy built about 4.7 million in the 5-year span of 27 through 31. Ford built about the same number. Now, I didn't realize Chevy built that many cars, but the numbers I dug out show that. So what that means, there's a lot of Chevy cars that were out on the road right next to these guys. So, and even the Chevy was a tiny bit more luxurious, I think, from the ones I've seen. So what's the magic that keeps the huge number of A's out on the road 90 years later and very few Chevys? Where did they go? The Chevys had to go somewhere. Both cars started out pretty good automobiles with good sales. I think the Model T has something to do with this. Ford built about 15 million cars over a period of almost 19 years. And that was at a time when cars were sort of built by hand, but low volume. And low volume with a lot of nameplates, that was the name of the game back then, until the Model T hit. And along comes the T, and almost everyone either had one or lived close to one. Very widely known. Everyone knew about it, and most anyone could repair it. Fact is, they expected you to make your own repairs. They gave you the tools. Talk about name recognition, my goodness. Today, they say that no matter where you're standing, you're never more than a mile away from a Model A. That's probably close to true. Back in the day of the T, there had to be a T around every corner and behind every barn. I think with 15 T's running around for that many years, the name recognition and the memories of them conditioned a large part of the population to have a soft spot in their heart for the little Ford T. Along comes the A with a lot of fanfare, and it was truly a loved car. People went nuts over it. The people who fought with the T now had a car with a real transmission, real brakes, a powerful engine, and a comfortable ride protected from the elements. Over time, the simplicity, durability, reliability, and performance of the A became well known. You had the T people and now all the A people remembering the two cars, and how could you forget them? 20 years later, in the 50s, a lot of these people were still around with all those great memories of their cars. The hot rodders loved them, the A and the T, and they were the starting point of most hot rods. People started to rediscover the A's that were all over the place and behind every barn in the county. They had been neglected for many years, and back in those days, cars were replaced fairly often. Rust took its toll and the rough roads broke them up. So they went behind the barn and sat there. There's still many out there that people keep finding even today. So in the 50s, clubs started to form, members started fixing up the old A's and driving them. The sound of that wonderful horn, the waves and smiles could not be ignored. Being part of this was contagious. More clubs, more cars, more enthusiasm exploded into what it is today. Just take a ride in your A and try to count the waves, smiles, and yells you will cause. Everyone is so happy to see you drive by, and when you give them the horn, they go nuts. Went on tour, and we come up to a four-way stop. All of the other cars stop and let us go through as a group. A beautiful group. This happens so often, we now expect it. But again, why the A? Why not the Chevy? I don't know much about the old Chevys, but their rear axle had the kind of problem that probably put a lot of them in the scrap heap. They went somewhere. The axle of the Chevy did double duty. It carried the weight of the car in addition to driving the rear wheels. The high torque and bending loads caused frequent failures. And it's no fun when you have a rear axle brake on a car. The A's rear axle drives only the wheels. It carries no weight. The weight of the car is carried by the axle housing, and that thing is just about bulletproof. There may be other significant differences between the two cars, but in hindsight, it is clear that Henry's A was over-designed in several areas. Many original parts are still being used, 90 years later. What about appearance? I'm not familiar with the A's competitors back then, but the A is a very good-looking car, and when restored, shined up, and driving along a pretty road, it is dynamite. The four-door and the two-door are nice, stately shapes, good-looking bodies with a nice stance. All Model A's look like they're ready to go. They want to go, just like their engines. They want to start. The utility of the two-door was fantastic. That rear seat area is huge. Ford sold a ton of those. The coupe is a sweetheart. With a rumble and that beautiful profile, what could be cuter? Then there are the open cars. Wow, the Phaeton is the perfect parade car. You could put that car up against any old car on the road today. The little Roadster was the Mustang of the period. Sporty, good-looking, with a top up or down. Fun to drive and will turn any head. This is a beautiful 31 Roadster that one of our members restored. Really a beautiful car. I must add a short story here. A few years ago, they were having a Concours d'Elegance in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And we were there, and to promote the occasion, they put several of the fancy cars at a popular location the day before so people could see a few of the cars and maybe buy a ticket. They were in a roped-off area and included several Rolls Royces and Packards and such. Really nice top-of-the-line show cars. We wanted to go see this, so we drove my little 30 Roadster, this car. Just a nice driver, not bad from across the street. As we drove by the entrance to the roped-off area, they stopped us and waved us in. I didn't have the guts to park very close to the fancy cars, so I parked a row or two back. Oh my, the people started coming over to my little car with their cameras. They thought that little Roadster was part of the show, and they loved it. They surrounded it, and I was so embarrassed. I kept my distance, but it was fun. We have a very active club, Oak Leaf, in Michigan, and we have some new young members who did a little research into which old car they wanted to get involved with. They reached their decision based on a lot of things, but they were still on the fence when they decided to attend one of our meetings. The way we start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance and the Lord's Prayer kind of got their attention, and by the time the meeting was over, they were Model A'ers. It's interesting also that our new members all want to get involved and drive their cars on tour. A lot of the older members want to be members, but they don't drive their cars a lot. Now, after 90 years, the older people who had an A when they were young are going away. We do have to expose the A to younger people, and we're working hard at it. All of the A clubs have this same problem. So I'm sure you can come up with your own reasons why the A is so popular. It's really a magical car. And maybe the VW Beetle, you could do a similar story on that car. What I have here are just my thoughts why the A survived and is such an established icon. Thanks. Here we have some really pretty cars getting ready to go on one of our Amish tours. First stop, we're not too many miles down the road, but at least we're in Ohio. All these old people getting out of their cars, making sure that nice casual stop here. And it's not Ted's car. It's Reed. He's got a bed too. They're putting a new one in. We're leaving the Amish motel, heading for the Amish Hills on a short tour. There they go. Push down.
Up here, help them out here. You got the right color dresses for this little car.
Same color as your shirt.
Yeah.
Was that fun, girls?
Yep, that was fun. Ah, look at it. We'll end this with this clip. Here we're on our blueberry tour. We go do that every year.
Oh, there's that.
And the cars are pulling into the blueberry lane where we will pick our berries.
Uh-oh. Mikey's horn works. Uh-oh, Jordan's works. Oh, look at these guys. Model Air loves his horn. This is a lot of cars. I wasn't counting them. You guys are nuts. Oh, they love the cars here.